Our fourth? Is it our fourth, Joyce? Joyce?
I guess so, Doctor. Yes.
Uh-huh. So, so what is it that we're having this morning? It's the other side of truth. Going to talk about its difference and navigate its different complexities in terms of the issues that the novel writer address. Um, Mind me to also talk about tonight's quiz because you guys have a quiz tonight. You also have method of an right, but the format of the quiz tonight and MTA in terms of what to expect, in terms of how they would look on the script, the questions, and what kind of questions they are, whether they are short answer questions or long. Talking, of course, about the midterm, which is obviously more in terms of the number marks assigned to it. Somebody is raising their hand. Okay, Joyce, go ahead.
Yeah, Doctor. Sorry to interrupt, but please, can you send me the link again for the master class because the one in the email is not letting
Uh,
people, yeah, to
doesn't
join.
work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I sent it. It's on the
Yeah, I got it,
WhatsApp
Doctor.
channel now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, يلا هلا I will send it.
Should we wait for perhaps 5 more minutes for other people to join? Yeah, I don't mind. And in the meantime, if you guys have any questions, procedural, you can come forward and ask them. Tell everybody's here. So, Sarah, sorry, Doctor, what did she said. I have a question. Does unconnected plot and destabilization mean the same thing? Yes and no. Uh, so on the level of ideologies and ideas, destabilization means that you're talking about challenging whatever is established and whatever exists already. Order, I mean the social order, the hierarchies in society, the different class division. So part of the postmodern would be to challenge these orthodoxies. This is on the level of themes and ideas and ideologies. On the level of techniques, destabilization can also work when you have twisted narratives, when you have like narratives where you don't have a closure, you don't have a clear beginning, middle, or an end. Yeah, it works both ways. Whether we're talking about techniques that are used by the postmodern writer, or we're talking about ideas that are being and orthodoxies that are being challenged and subverted, if you like. Yeah, yeah, that's a good question. Thank you for it, Sarah. Um, okay, the silence is because I'm waiting for you to come and ask procedural questions, perhaps, until our other colleagues join. And I understand they have issues with the link. Again, let me remind you that inshallah tonight you will have a quiz out of 5, and it's going to be multiple choice questions covering and addressing both picture books, Voices in the Park and The Tale of Peter Rabbit. Sure.
Doctor, the
Yeah.
quiz, sorry, the date and the time of the quiz on the LMS is not accurate.
No, I
Like,
changed it. It was, remember, it should have been last week, and I changed it to this week, the 20th. I remember very vividly that I did that. Isn't that
yeah,
reflected on the LMS?
I checked it yesterday. The timing was a bit different. It wasn't
And
about today.
you're
Yeah, I'm
talking
checking
about,
right now.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're
the
talking about,
assignment itself. Yeah.
you're talking about the date or the timing. Then obviously the timing, we're talking about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
The
No, no,
date,
it's like it's written, Doctor. It opens on Monday, 1st January 1900s and closes Monday, 18 November 2019. It's like that written on the LMS, but
no, I
under
mean,
it, it's written Feb 20th
yeah.
at 6 p.m.
Yeah, this is what we're buying. Remember,
Okay,
this
okay.
was the initial announcement, and the LMS administrator, for some reason, said that you have to reveal everything. You shouldn't be hiding or keeping something hidden. I mean, the icons. But that's why we came up with any date. But
Okay.
uh,
Got it,
uh,
Doctor.
yeah, perhaps if this is going to create confusion, I'll right after I finish. I'll do something about it so that only the February 20th 6 o'clock will stand out. But
Okay, perfect.
I think we agreed on that, and I think I even communicated the message to your other teachers if you're not with me in class. Remember, again, I'm saying that it should have been last week, but I thought it would be perhaps a better idea if I give you more space, I mean, so that you feel comfortable, even doing voices in the park. I mean, but that's why it's today. And we cannot obviously delay it any longer because, again, we're finishing week 5 and we're moving towards the midterm exam. I'll handle it, inshallah, Joyce.
Thank you,
But
Doctor.
we're agreed on the fact that we have a quiz today at 6 p.m. Yeah, and today,
Yes.
uh,
Everyone knows, Doctor. Don't worry.
yeah. I need you to also kind of share it with people that don't attend. Perhaps you need to share it on the WhatsApp group if you know of other groups of people
I already
who
did,
are,
Doctor, but I
yeah.
will do that again.
And sometimes people create their own groups. You can have parallel EA300B groups. But if you can also like spread the word, that would be fine. Thank you.
Sure,
Um,
Doctor.
okay, so because we're speaking about quizzes, like I said, quiz two, in terms of format, it will be, like multiple choice questions, and it's going to cover, like I said, the two picture books that we have taken. Yeah, it shouldn't be something big or worrying, and I'm sure you're going to ace it. Yeah, people do it from DLMS. You know where to find it by now. Again, let me talk about the midterm also. The midterm is in 2 weeks, like we agreed. The midterm schedule is already out. You can go and check for yourselves. It's a 2 hour setup exam. You will have to come to the university, of course, and do the exam. And I have received a word from the GCC yesterday. She shared um, what the exam will look like, and it's going to be divided. Typically, it's going to be divided into two sections: a section on and about short answers, and the other section is essays. Typically, in the short answer part, normally you get like three choices, and you choose two. Choose to write on two things, or on two questions out of the three, the short answers, and then you move on to the essay part where we normally have two um, essays or topics that would require you to write essays, and you normally choose one. She also stressed the fact that you may have a close reading from the picture books, which is obviously open to possibilities. It can be a text from the picture book, and it can also be a passage. But I think I would think that it would be more of a picture where you, of course, analyze and examine the picture. So get ready to have a close reading question, and it will be actually, it will be from the two picture books, Voices in the Park or The Tale of uh, Peter Rabbit. Okay. Again, when it comes to our expectations, like we said, if you're writing a short answer, no, it's not new. I mean, it's new to you because you're doing the course for the first time, but it's not new for us. I mean, we had this practice, but perhaps it was suspended for some time. We didn't have that last semester and the semester before, but it was there. Uh, yeah, for you, not for me. Yes, that's correct. But it can be a nice experience, you know. Not totally new, like I told you. I mean, we have this practice. It's only that we stopped it momentarily. I mean, we didn't discontinue it. It was, I mean, you know, every semester, you know, those who write the exams and set them, they have to change things. And yeah. Anyway, so whether it is a picture or a text, you don't have a problem. You have done enough. You have studied the material. You know it in and out, and you don't have a problem, Sean. Again, I'm talking about my expectations and my colleagues' expectations when it comes to the perhaps the word count, how much is much when it comes to the input, your input in the questions, whether they are short or long. Again, I said half a page would be satisfactory when it comes to writing or attempting short answers. Shouldn't be a paragraph because the paragraphs, if you write only one paragraph, you're not saying much. And we want you to say, we want you to reflect your understanding of the material, and that you are on top of things, you know, things in and out. So half a page would be good. If you're writing more than half a page, you need to make sure that what you're saying is not unnecessary, is not you know, is not giving the impression that you're writing for the sake of writing in order to fill in the page and say that I have written and I know. No, it's not about that. It's about being compact, it's about being relevant, and it's about knowing uh, um, to talk the talk and walk the walk, like they say. Very concise, to the point, providing relevant examples and everything in between. So this is as far as short answers are concerned, and then you move, of course, to the long answer questions where you normally write an essay. Whether it's a close reading or a prompt that you're reacting to, you have to write um, an essay and a long one. And of course, you're familiar with the guidelines when it comes to writing essays. You need to have a clear introduction where you state your purpose, why you're writing, and you provide some kind of thesis statement, and then you live up to your promises in the introductory paragraph by developing the ideas that you said that you'll talk about in the body paragraphs, and then you end with a nice conclusion. That would, in my estimation, that would take perhaps 3 pages. So write again, um, tactfully, write sensibly. It's again, it's not about filling the pages. It's about showing that you understand, showing that you know what is relevant and what is not. It's about comprehensiveness. You need to be comprehensive in the sense that you need to cover all the aspects of the questions. And normally, when we choose questions for you, they are significant. They cover a number of aspects that you have to first of all discover them from the question and then tie them together towards um, a unity of purpose. But this is as far as the midterm exam is concerned. Do you have any questions about that? Yes or
You
no?
mean regarding the midterm?
Yeah, regarding, yeah, whatever, yeah, and at least we hear your voice. I mean, you've been keeping a very low profile for so long.
Oh, والله دكتور,
You told me you're still
the
sick.
last 400 is taking so much of my time. That's why I'm not really active.
Which is something that I think I spoke about it, but in previous semesters with people. Remember that last 400 is only four is only 4 credit hours, while a course like this one is 8 credit hours. So you don't focus on a 4 credit hour course and not forget, of course. I mean, you're not neglecting or forgetting it. It just happens. You need to dedicate an equal amount of uh, time and efforts on this course too, because that's even more important. So it's about managing your time, it's about budgeting your time, and I think and I trust that you can do it, Yahend. Okay, remember that class is only for
Thank you,
credit
doctor.
hours, not
I
eight
will
credit
try
hours.
my
Yeah.
best,
Yes,
inshallah.
inshallah. Yeah, Joyce, go ahead.
Yeah, doctor. When you talked about the close reading as pictures, I asked you what kind of questions, how do we tackle such questions? Like, what are the main aspects that we need to focus on the most when we are writing the essay when it comes to the pictures?
Well, it's normally about reflecting this harmony between the picture and the text. And this is perhaps one aspect. And perhaps also showing that you are able to unlock the codes. Remember when we said that in picture books, you normally, when it comes to pictures and images, you have codes and you need to know how to unlock them, how to to first of all identify those clues and those codes, and then refer to their significance and how they help shape our understanding of the whole experience of the picture book. So we're talking about color symbolism. We're talking about the positionality of the characters, how big or how small they are. We're talking about even the paintbrush. We're talking about the fonts, if there are fonts involved, the kind of font that the character is using. If we're talking about voices in the part, and obviously you have a multiplicity of narrators, not only one single narrator, and what this reflects. So it's all about these things. You need to show how the picture creates and contributes towards, giving or achieving the effect that the author has in mind, the themes and the ideas involved out of seeing this picture and out of seeing this or that kind of code. So it's about unlocking the secrets and the meanings of those codes that we spoke about: color, change of season, um, characters, even again, the fact that they are animal characters, especially in Voices in the Park, where choosing animals and choosing uh, gorillas meant something. It was not a random choice, obviously, right? So remember when we said that choosing animals and especially gorillas was meant to kind of deflect attention from um, our biases, because otherwise you'll be assessing the characters and their actions based on what class you belong to. If you belong to the high class, to a high class, and as a reader, you may judge characters who are low class in the picture book in a negative way, and correspondingly, if you are a low class reader and you're looking at the actions of high class protagonists or people in the picture book, you may also judge them in the harshest of ways. So it's about, removing those biases that are built in or inbuilt in us, if you like. Yeah, this is about it. Yeah, if
Perfect,
you
doctor.
have,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Absolutely. Yeah. Any more questions before we move on? Okay, right. Right. Let's move now to the other side of truth. We started talking about it in our regular classes, and it's about time that we kind of wrap everything up and talk perhaps more about its different aspects. I didn't want to spoil things for people, whether in the master class or in the regular class, by talking about the plot and what actually happened. We spoke about it, but we didn't give the details so that we don't spoil it for people. Part of the experience is that you want to enjoy the thing. You want to discover for yourself what will happen next. So by now, I think people have read the work, and I'm sure they are sharing the sentiment that this is a very interesting piece of work. And the accolades and the awards and the prizes that the author got for it are quite deserved. So let's first of all agree on the themes and the ideas that the novel um, addresses and explores. Let's talk about them. And I think we have time for everyone. Come to the mic. If you think one of the themes is prominent and you think it stands out, come and tell me about it. So, what are the themes and the ideas that the novel explores? Give me one theme. Come to the mic and tell me it's immigration, for example. I'll tell you thank you.
I
Hmm.
think one of the prominent theme in the novel is telling the truth,
Yeah,
what is the meaning of a truth and its consequences.
yeah, yeah.
Also, immigration, as you said,
Yes.
exile in a
Exile,
foreign, yes, in a
exile.
foreign country,
Yeah.
yes, and
Okay.
also the importance of journalism and media.
Yeah,
How
media. Yes.
the difference between Nigeria and London, how freedom of speech, like this.
Yeah, and these are very beautiful insights. Thank you for them, yeah, Maya. Yeah, this is true. I mean, the
Maria.
idea, Maria, I'm sorry. Yeah, you have this hot issue of immigration. Yeah, it addresses that. We also have the role of media, and of course, under media, you would have journalism. Yeah, this is very important. Telling the truth and whether um, And with telling the truth, you have this idea of moral absolutism. Should I tell the truth all the time, or there comes a time when I have to be economical with the truth for a nobler cause, of course. So this idea of moral ambiguity and moral absolutism, I think they both come when we talk about the issue of truth telling, and when, um, um, and how and why sometimes. Um, Again, so we spoke about um, media and its role, the good and the bad and the ugly. Again, immigration, telling the truth. What other themes and ideas does the novel explore and talk about?
Can I try, Doctor?
Yeah, of course, Laila, go ahead.
Also, racism.
Racism, yeah, yeah,
Yes. Black people in Nigeria went to the white country in London, and the character shade.
yeah.
She's
Okay, so is it,
struggled
yeah,
with her
yeah.
in
And
school with her
let me
friends.
ask you, Laila, is it, uh, did you feel that there are situations where the kids are treated uh, um, in a biased way because of the skin of their the color of their skin, or was it more of an institutional kind of racism that targets not only the black, whoever is different in terms of coming from overseas? What did you feel? Is it institutional or individual racism that we're talking about?
Individual racism.
Individual, okay.
Yes.
You don't think of the hurdles and the obstacles that were put in front of the kids as institutional racism?
At
The
all. So
bureaucracy of those people who were kind of receiving the files, they applied for asylum and for refugee status. And obviously things didn't go that well at the beginning, remember? Even when they sent them to foster care places, the treatment was not the best. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Thank you, Laila, for that. This is a very important issue, the idea of racism, whether it is individual not reflecting the whole society and the sentiments of society, or it is institutional racism. We'll talk more about that when the time is right. Yeah. So this is also a very important issue. What other issues do you guys still have or think of when it comes to the other side of truth?
Corruption.
Yeah, corruption. Yeah, yeah, corruption, and on the different levels. Yeah, of course, government and institutional corruption. Yeah, yes, yeah. The idea of corruption is
Doctor,
around. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question about a little rabbit. Ask.
Not now, not now. When we have finished the line of thought that we are pursuing, remind me in a couple of minutes. Let's finish. Let's first of all finish off the themes that the other side of truth has, and then move to other issues. So again, these are some of the themes, and also the idea of agency. Remember, agency is about taking decisions and deciding to take matters into your own hands and effect change or changes. And what we have here is actually child agency. Again, this is also a very important issue, the idea of child agency and how children have to go out of their way and effect the change that they want to see in the world. And this is happening, yeah, happening often in the novel, especially with say the main character, the girl, right? So child agency and the whys. You normally ask, why would a child who is supposed to spend uh, uh, this part of his life enjoying the care and the love of his family, only caring about his education, and what all of a sudden he was thrown under the bus, if you like, where he has to fend, he or she, of course, has to fend for himself and for his family, has to do stuff that you normally require or expect of adults. So the reasons why a child has to play that role that early in his or her life is what I mean is part of what Naidu is trying to explore in the novel. So child agency is very important, and of course, with child agency comes the idea of responsibilities, whether we're talking about parental responsibility or we're talking about societal responsibility. When you talk about parents, we talk about the idea of how parents don't normally consult their children when they take decisions, and especially if those decisions are, you know, important, and they can affect the entire family, the trajectory that the life of this family is going to take for perhaps the next 20 to 30 years. So children are normally taken for granted. They are not consulted. They are thought little of. So this is also an issue and a problem. So in this case, um, I mean, obviously, parents should be responsible enough, and they should show responsibility. So if you don't consult, you show responsibility, which is something that we don't see here, and perhaps in also in life. The fact that you don't consult, but at the same time you make all kinds of blunders and all kinds of issues and problems for that children. Again, we're talking also about societal responsibilities and how society should protect children and their rights, by, safeguarding the rights, the right to not to be terrorized, not to be, uh, the kind of education that is given to them. Promoting and fostering this sense of independence, thinking for themselves, how to even live up to the challenges that sometimes and face up to those challenges. And some of life is quite unpredictable, as you know. So if children are prepared for that, if children are not taken for granted, if children are even aware about what happens around them, they will be in a better position to judge and evaluate and um, do stuff in the right way. So again, we're talking about societies and their moral responsibilities toward children. We're talking about parents and also their responsibilities towards their own children. So this is a hot topic, and it is dealt with and discussed very heavily in the novel. So these are the themes. Of course, if we kind of scratch our heads about other themes, we're not likely to stop, because the novel is full of ideas, and you stumble into themes and topics as you proceed. Again, if anything, that points to the richness and the buoyance of the novel, and how good and how deep and profound it is, of course. Okay. So before I proceed, somebody was asking about the tale of Peter Rabbit. Go ahead.
Yes, for me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now I
What's
have a question.
what?
The critics, what they say about
Peter.
Yeah. What?
Can you, yes, about the potter, the writer, they say
Mhm.
that he wanted the disobedience. He agreed with the disobedience, and some of them say that no, he didn't, because of the punishment of the chamomile tea. So,
Mhm.
what is the true answer? Did the potter, the writer, agree with the disobedience or no?
No, it's like I think we highlighted this a lot. The idea that the writer is ambivalent on that. Ambivalent means that you cannot really know where she stands. And the idea of having chamomile tea at the end is up for grabs in terms of interpretation. You can interpret it the way you like. You can consider it, a reward because you're trying to nurse him back to health, which means that the mother approves of what he did, and she's ready to kind of help him become better. And that can be a stand that the writer is taking on corresponding. On the other hand, you can think of the chamomile tea as a punishment. You need to set this against the idea that the other members of the family are eating normal food that perhaps more
Yeah.
delicious. Chamomile tea is obviously sour, is dry, it's bland. It doesn't even have like a taste, a nice taste. So this
Uh,
can be considered as a punishment, and in this case, you would consider the author as siding towards the idea that what he did shouldn't have happened. He should have obeyed his mom. So the two opinions and the two views are valid. As long as you can back up your answer with argument, you argue for this or that, that's fine. So no
uh,
specific answer. When we have a question like this, we're not targeting a specific answer. If you say that it's a punishment, you have to prove that it is a punishment and you have to argue for this. If you say that it is a reward, you have to argue for the fact that it is a reward and provide evidence for this. See? So literature is
yes, I
not
got it.
about,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Literature is not about right and wrong answers. Literature is about, providing a point of view and then arguing about it, proving it or refuting it. So if you can have this kind of uh, solid argument about something, that's fine. You're doing a good job and you are. So it's not about right or wrong answers. Thank you. Yeah. What's your name? I'm sorry. Serene.
Serene.
Yeah. Nice question. Thank you for it. Yes, Serene. Yeah. Yeah. Any more questions? Because before we open this Pandora's box of themes and ideas as far as the other side of truth is concerned. Okay. Fine. Okay. Let's start in a logical way. Remember, the novel is about immigration and asylum seeking. Asylum means that you seek refuge or sanctuary in another country. And obviously, when you do that, you have normally political reasons. You're fleeing persecution in another country on virtue of religion, race, political difference, and I don't know what else. So immigration is a hot topic and it is dealt with in the novel. So the manifestations of immigration is simply that we have a couple of kids, a brother and his sister, or a sister and her younger brother, and they at one point their father decides that they have to travel to England or to Britain or to London, okay? So, or to the West. Um, so, um, I mean, is it a casual kind of travel? Is it a vacation that they are spending? No, we get to know, of course, that they are fleeing something back home. Where are they from? Of course, they are from Nigeria, and they are traveling to London or England. Obviously, not for vacationing. They are there because we get to know that their father is an investigative journalist and a daring one. And obviously, he is vocal about the corruption that he believes the government is about or exercising. So, so at one point, the government would say no, and they show their true color by targeting him in order to obviously silence him, and obviously they perhaps mishit or something, and the next thing we know that his wife is the one who got assassinated, not him. Again, it became a very dangerous atmosphere for the kids. They have to flee this kind of terrorizing environment, which what they did. Of course, when they go to London, um, somehow they are away from danger momentarily, but they meet other kinds of harassment, if you like. It's not political this time, and the fact that there is a great deal of bureaucracy, they are seeking asylum, they have to apply for that, but there are lots of institutional hurdles in the way. It takes them some time, and it takes them efforts, and it takes them hardships and tribulations before they finally get that. So we're talking about this period between leaving Nigeria, their home country, and going to England, and then securing this asylum or refugee status that they were looking for. So we're talking about this period and what happened. And what happened is a lot, as you have seen and as you have read in the novel. So we're talking about this trajectory. Okay, so it's during this period that lots of ideas pop up. As one of them is immigration and how immigrants are treated, and also the 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 kind of discrepancy and the gap between uh, what is and what you expect. I mean, they were under obviously the illusion and the false impression that when they go to England, all their problems will come to an end, and obviously they didn't end. The problems um, became different. They met a set of a different set of challenges, but the challenges are there. That would bring us to the question of why children at this very young age have to face challenges in the first place. Again, you would go back and ask about the role of the father and the responsibility of the father. And you would also talk about this idea that the father, yeah, what he was doing was correct, exposing the government and its corruption, not saying yes to what they do. Yeah, these are all morally good, but again, what is also important and what should have been a priority would be the consequences of what he is doing, not about him, obviously, because he decided to kind of pursue that. But he has kids, and their future was obviously at stake. Did he ask them before he did what he did? And this is what his brother told him at one point. Yeah, that's well and good. What you're doing is great. You're a hero. But where uh, uh, did this leave us? You have kids who are on the move, being witch hunted by the authorities, and your wife got assassinated and killed. So obviously, and when we talk about it in this balance between benefits and drawbacks, obviously the drawbacks are more than the benefits. This in accounting they have this cost benefit analysis. So and this cost, if you conduct this cost benefit analysis, you will lose. You lost your wife. You are on the run because you're a fugitive. The government is after you. Your kids are in another country. They are not protected there. It's very hard to kind of secure asylum for them. So um, again, this is one of the ideas that the novel grapples with, the idea of truth telling, and under truth telling you have journalism and you have the media, whether you have to be maneuvering or you have to be straightforward all the time. Um, so this is one of the issues, and as you can see, they all come together. You talk about parents' responsibility, and the parents happens to be a journalist who obviously is outspoken about anything that he sees or perceives wrong. So it's all of that combined together, and they all help or hinder the growth of children. In our example, obviously, it's about hindering their growth. It's about creating scenarios that was too early for them to see, and experience. The hardships and the trials and the tribulations that they had gone through very early in their lives. So as you can see, the novel and its themes are all intertwined. You cannot think of a theme separate from others. They all come together. So, and this is all because of or due to the act of immigration. Immigration is not bad, so people can move from one country to another in order to perhaps improve their living conditions, to seek better prospects. But if it's forced immigration, you are fleeing a civil war, or you're fleeing a political oppression, this is where people have to stop and ask why this is happening in Nigeria post-independence, because we people in Nigeria and elsewhere believe that um, if the occupier leaves, life is going to be honey and milk. We're going to be self-ruled. We're going to be ruled by our own people from within ourselves, and they are going to treat us well. They are going to provide us with whatever we lacked and now have. And obviously, the things turn nastier and uglier than before, where you have uh, a new kind of colonization. So this is also one of the ideas, and the idea of immigration, which obviously features very prominently, and is at the core of the whole novel. Um, you can't speak about immigration and you don't speak about the people involved in this kind of immigration and their demographics and what they go through, and that what they have to undergo. So that would bring us again to the idea of children. That would bring us also to the idea of their parents and what their parents do. Again, we talk about the father as a journalist. And again, there is obviously nothing wrong with exposing corruption. Nothing is wrong about, revealing the truth. But when and at what expense, excuse me, this is the idea that the novel is grappling with, and who are involved in the decision making process. Again, as we see in the novel, the father takes all the decisions. The mother was also as relentless. She was obviously pushing and encouraging her father to tell the truth and to expose and everything. But again, at what cost? It was at I mean, they have to kind of incur or pay a very high price. The price was that the mother was assassinated, and the kids are now, kind of on the move, and they will eventually go to England for asylum. And obviously, asylum and being a refugee is not a good thing. You are away from your country, from your loved ones. You have memories, and those memories are happy when you were a child in your home country. So it's a very difficult experience for adults and mature individuals, so let alone children. So again, this is responsibility. This is the responsibility of parents. Again, this is also the responsibility of society, because had the Nigerian society was a democratic one, where freedom of speech is safeguarded, those children would have lived in this kind of environment. They could have been nurtured and developed, and this is obviously their natural habitat. But they were taken away from this kind of environment because it was corrupt, it was dictatorial and undemocratic. Again, this is societal, and they had to kind of move to England. And obviously, when they move to England, life is not any better, and at least at the beginning, where we still have society not caring or not catering for the needs of children, especially if they are not the natives of the country. They are not English, and they are not treated badly. They are left to fend for themselves, if you like. So this is also one of the issues that the novel addresses, the idea of societal responsibility, whether we're talking about Nigeria or even when you talk about the West and how they perceive and look at those who don't look like them in terms of skin, in terms of ethnicity and religion and all those kinds of things. So this is one of the issues, the idea of responsibility, whether we're talking about parents' responsibility or societal responsibility. Again, quite, yeah, go ahead, yeah. Munira, yeah, go ahead.
Hello, doctor. I want to
Yeah,
add also the issue for bullying at school
yeah,
because
this is,
yes,
yeah, let me just highlight the fact that this is part of the responsibility of society, and this society, it is obviously the British or the English society that we're talking about. Obviously, they're not providing safe environments for children, whether those children, and obviously those who are doing the bullying, the white people, are part of the society. They were not educated into respecting difference in color, in religion, in ethnicity. So this is again the responsibility of society. Yeah, go on, Munira. You were saying something.
Yes, yes, because the mother have an idea about the bullying should be need to be ignored. Then the father have the opposite idea that the
Mm.
ignore should be stopped. Even this can
Yeah.
cause a confusion because two ideas from both parents for the child.
Yes, that's a very interesting point. The idea that, when you have two parents and they have two different styles of upbringing, somebody is for brutal honesty and the other is for being, yeah, perhaps cavalier with the truth. I mean, take things at strides and in strides, being economical with the tool, sometimes maneuvering. So yeah, this is a trap that parents fall into sometimes when they have confusing views. And who is at the receiving end of this confusion? It's the child. Excellent point, Munira. Thank you for it. Yes. Yeah, that's lovely. You guys are giving very amazing insights. Okay, before I proceed, if you have any questions. Okay, let's break for 10 minutes and meet again. Uh, um, I'll see you in 10 minutes, inshallah. Hello, I'm back. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, okay. طيب. So where did we stop? Yeah, these are the themes. So these are the themes that we're talking about. Political oppression, freedom of speech, truth-telling, asylum seeking, home and exile, formal and informal education, the role of the media, resistance and political activism, child agency, and I would add the moral ambiguity and the moral absolutism that comes with the idea of truth-telling, where to draw the line between absolute truth-telling and maneuvering for and being economical with the truth for a nobler cause, like we have seen. Some of them they create the background that you need to talk about other major issues, like the idea of political oppression that triggers all what is happening, the fact that this family was politically oppressed. I mean, they were obviously persecuted, they were witch hunted because of the father and his daring nature, and the fact that he represents in the novel what we call fearless reporting, the fact that he is uh, giving this or projecting this image about honest media and the role of the media um, as something that safeguards the rights of people, the right of people to know. And obviously, that would also bring us to the idea of the difference between, honest journalism and honest reporting and propaganda. Obviously, when we talk about the regime in Nigeria at the time, it was all propaganda that it was giving. I mean, talking about bad about their political opponents, depicting and portraying them as traitors, as working against the the national security of the country. This is propaganda. And then we have another uh, brand of media and journalism, which is honest reporting and fearless reporting as uh, presented and represented by the father. And then you move on to England, where obviously the level of professional and fearless, journalism and media is bigger. Again, freedom of speech is also perhaps tied to what was happening in Nigeria during the time under, uh, uh, you know, General Abashi and the fact that people were silenced. And we have an example. Remember what happened, of course, to the mother, the fact that she got assassinated because for no other cause or reason than the fact that her husband was vocal about the corruption that he is seeing and reporting. Again, that would also bring us to the idea of spoke again about media, the role of the media. And when we talk about the role of the media, of course, we talk about truth telling, whether on the level of the level of the different professions that come under media, or on the level of individuals negotiating and navigating this realm of truth telling. When we talk about truth telling on the level of individuals, talk about families. I mean, communicating to their kids that they have to be honest, they have to tell the truth, no matter what. And this is very tricky because there will come, time or times when those children, and when they grow up into the mature individuals that they will be faced with situations where moral absolutism doesn't work. You cannot be all the time uh, in situations where the consequences are dire and people's lives are on the line. And you have to kind of maneuver. You have to not tell the truth. You wouldn't tell the truth, and this is what happened to Said at one point, revealing the real or the true identity of her. Her father would have landed him in prison and would have pushed the authorities to kind of deport him and send him back to Nigeria where he would have been executed. That's why she thought about it, and this was the moral dilemma that the girl went through. The moral dilemma here has to do with her never wanting to hide something, never wanting to tell lies, because this is the upbringing that she has been receiving from her parents. Her parents used to tell her that she has to tell the truth no matter what. Again, she as a child, very early on in her life, is faced with this challenge. Should she pursue what they are saying and tell the truth no matter what, and not think of the consequences? Then the consequences could be dire. Her father getting deported and perhaps subsequently executed, or should she kind of momentarily hold the truth and say something different? Again, those are moral dilemmas that we put our kids into. There is obviously nothing wrong in telling our kids, of course, to tell the truth all the time, but then we need to also prepare them for worst case scenarios, for situations where sometimes they have to perhaps maneuver momentarily withhold the truth for a guilt, for a nobler cause. So truth telling on the level of individuals and the responsibility of parents. Again, you would also move on the professional level, where we're talking about professions whose core is about telling the truth, like journalism, like media in general. And here, of course, people need to distinguish between uh, journalism and propaganda. Propaganda is all about telling lies, is about personality cults, is about painting um, a rosy and picture of life when there is nothing rosy about it, obviously, in these countries. So the propaganda is about falsehood, while journalism is about honest and fearless reporting. And this is what we're seeing. And again, the difference between, on the level of Nigeria itself, you have two kinds of truth telling on the level of profession, where you have the father. He is an investigative journalist. He is fearless. He exposes the corruption of the government, and he is obviously faced and met and challenged by a different narrative by the government, at the core of which there is, of course, propaganda painting him as a traitor, uh, um, um, and everything. So again, we move on. Even when we move on to England, you have this aspect of truth telling on the level of the profession. You have media. When they came to know about the story of Said and her parents, they acted swiftly. She was put on a show where she explained the whole case, and that garnered support and caught the interest and the attention of the public, and that's why her problem was solved once and for all. So this is how you tackle truth telling as one of the main aspects of the novel. You talk on the individual and family level, and you also talk on the professional level. And of course, nothing is more, or truth telling, or the lack thereof, is not wouldn't be as clear as it is, of course, when we talk about the field of media and journalism. Um, again, that's the role of the media, like we said. Again, it's all about what kind of education we give to our children. Of course, they receive formal education. They are taught on the principles of do this and not do that. And then informal education is what they inherit from their parents. Their parents would set as models for them. They emulate them. Of course, the kids have seen their father and how fierce he is in telling the truth, and obviously they are copying and emulating him. There was no chance where the father and even the mother would say, yeah, sometimes there is always this if and but. Sometimes you have to be careful. Sometimes you have to perhaps think twice about where this truth telling can take you. Sometimes you have to calculate the consequences before you embark on those truth telling journeys. Again, that would also bring us to the idea of child agency. We said that children were taken aback. They were caught unaware with all of that. I mean, they would children normally expect, or we expect, for them to live a peaceful kind of life where the focus with them would be on nurturing them, on giving them the proper kind of education. Obviously, childhood is about, you know, again, nurturing and about love and care, not about taking the hardest of decisions, not about having those moral dilemmas, whether to tell the truth or not about those, uh, um, the idea of being caught up in the crossfire between the parents and the institutions of society. Childhood is also about avoiding moral absolutism and moral ambiguity at this early stage of their lives. So when the parents fail their kids, when the different institutions of society fail their kids, the only resort would be that the kids would think of themselves as change agents. They effect the change that they want to see. Uh, um, so child agency is very prominent in the novel, where the kids, especially Said, is going to decide to go out of her way and make the change. Again, about her father, about their status as asylum seekers, and she did just that, and she did that with a great measure of success. She went on media outlets and platforms, and she explained the whole situation. She garnered the support of the entire, the public and society over there. Um, and she became in one way or another, a media star. Again, you would also refer back to the idea of education, because his English was good, because she was well read. She could present her case in the best of manners. she had this admiration. Yeah, people admired her and her courage and her English and everything in between. Yeah, come to the mic if you have questions. So how many of us have read the novel? Raise your hands. Yeah, Joyce, who else? Maria, that's good. How about the others? Not even a synopsis or a summary? Okay.
Doctor, I read the novel, but not all of the novel.
That's fine. You're halfway through. That's excellent. Thank you, Munira, for that. So we have Joyce, Maria, Munira, Wells. I think somebody, Noor was raising her hand. Yeah, Laila, that's good. Okay. Are you able to connect the dots? Because obviously there is a great deal of fluidity. Fluidity means that the one theme leads to the other. And you find yourself talking about everything. Do you have this feeling? Because when I talk about it, I think things converge. Do you have this feeling, everyone? Am I the only one with this feeling? Okay. So let's talk about the takeaways, things that you're not likely to forget whenever the other side of truth, comes as a flash in your mind. What did we learn, if any? We didn't learn anything? Are you sure? Yeah. Yeah, come to the mic, Joyce, and tell us all about it.
Yeah, doctor, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So yeah, concerning this story, it's like one of the best stories I read so far. Like I usually read tons of books, but this one, like, it was very smooth while reading it, and I wanna, turn the page because, like, some books sometimes when we read them, we're forced to read them, either for a course or just because someone told you about it. But this one, no, I really enjoyed every bit of it. I finished it in a day, almost a day. So
Yeah,
it was
lovely.
really impressive, to be honest. And I loved the way the author connected all these ideas together. Like from the very beginning, they started with the girl packing up for school, and then her mom got killed, and everything happened really so fast. Few pages later, they are in London, stranded in the streets. So it was really good, like the suspense and the connection we make with the characters. And the best thing about it, although it was written like 25 years ago, even more, it still makes sense nowadays because all these problems are still present in the modern time. All these problems about the refugees, about the oppression, about the media, about the corruption. So we can actually connect to them, and actually we can like give examples about how these things are actually very common nowadays, especially with all the
That's
social media and
very
stuff.
relatable, very relatable.
Yes, very relatable. Yes,
You can
definitely.
relate. You can relate.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
guess.
Especially with the media, what's happening nowadays, everyone is having their own point of view, and sometimes the oppressor becomes like the victim instead of the victimizer and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's a
true.
mess.
Yeah. It's very fluid. I wouldn't call it a mess. I would say fluid, where sometimes the, the lines are blurred between what is true and what is wrong. what is good and what is not very good. So it's a time of fluidity in morality, fluidity in judgment, and obviously everything in between. Yeah, this idea of having one single moral campus that people would agree on and revolve around is obviously and slightly disappearing. Again, this is the postmodern time. This is the age where meta narratives and ground narratives are demolished and challenged once for all. So you don't have a core that you can go back to. It's this assault on morality, and it's this assault on uh, um, whatever we perceived as constant, whatever we perceived as unchanging and core and everything. Anyway, I think we have more. We have time for more questions. If you'd like to ask more questions, let me remind you that today, inshallah, or tonight rather, you will have quiz one. Before also we leave, and I want to also announce the fact that we're starting a debate competition, and it is exclusively addressing the English department students like yourselves. I know some of you are, mashallah, excellent orators and excellent, defenders of causes and issues, and I would like you to be part of it. I have already sent the WhatsApp group link to you on the WhatsApp group, and I would like you to be part of it. You're going to like it because we're going to talk also about issues and discuss things. We're going to also learn together how to argue for or against something, how to provide evidence, how to also, keep the hard feelings away, because arguments are all about, emotions and feelings, and we're going to learn together how to avoid that, how to focus on the bottom line, how to focus on what really matters in the conversation. طيب, I think I'll stop here and on this note, and I'll see you next week. Part of the efforts in my regular class, inshallah, would be to examine and check and close reading passages from the novel. If other people from other classes would like to attend, they are more than welcome. I would like Joyce to provide the link, the regular class link on the WhatsApp, so that people who would like to attend, we meet on Monday at 10 a.m. So we're going to close
Sure,
read.
doctor.
Yeah, we're going to close read some texts from the other side of truth. Again, we're meeting next week. Yeah, I think we don't have a. Do we have a holiday or something on next Thursday? I don't believe so. It's business as usual. We don't have a problem. We're meeting again next week, inshallah, whether in the regular class on Monday or in the master class like today, inshallah. Until then, I wish you all the best. Assalamu alaikum. Bye bye.
Thank you, doctor.
You're welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.